Well, I'm a bit pissed because, also, yes, I am in my Spider-Man costume. I have made a video, my ranking video, but, this is a redo. Because if I edited the one that, like, I was kind of rushing it because I only had, like, 26 minutes left. Now I have, like, 2 more minutes left in this thing. So, let's not waste any time, because, I would like to be able to upload this. God, storage issues is always going to be my arch nemesis, isn't it? Jokes aside, though, hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. And yeah, like I said, I am in my Spider-Man costume. I was going to do a transition where, like, I was in my PJs and then just like that. But, too late for that. I've been wearing this kind of all day. But yeah, this is going to be my ranking for all 12 live-action Spider-Man movies. And I am including the Venom movies along with, probably the one that made... Wait, how much? Oh, yeah, 4 Morbius. I'm sorry, I'm trying to join in on the joke. I'm talking about Morbius. I'm including this. Yeah, I originally was going to make this video around, like, No Way Home came out, or, like, around Morbius, and then I kind of pushed it away, but then I thought, you know what, screw it, I'm going to make this video on Spider-Man Day, which, happy Spider-Man Day, everyone. So with that being said, let's just quit screwing around and get on with the ranking. Starting at number 12, shouldn't be surprised. Morbius is going on the bottom of the list. Now, do I hate the movie? No, my opinion has not changed. I mean, I've only seen this 3 times. The third time was with my mom as we bought the movie recently. And do I regret buying it? No, I like that I have it in my collection. It's just, the only thing I dislike about it is, actually I'm going to save that for my review for Morbius. I know I have not made a review yet. I was going to yesterday, but I've been trying to have my mom caught up with Phase 4 of the MCU. She fell asleep watching the finale of Loki last night, the season finale. I have been posting Tik Toks of her reactions. Well, not like reactions, but like before and after reactions on TikTok, so I'll be sure to check me out on TikTok, because I do got her reaction on the post-credit scenes for Venom 2. But still though, my thoughts with just Morbius. Now, I could join in on the meme. I am getting a bit tired of it, like just... Okay, can we maybe move on? Because as much as I love the memes, I think it's time we just move on to something. You know, from the it's Morbin time. Just I don't know. I guess I've just gotten tired. But so though, Morbius is all right with me. My mom could care less about what critics and audiences say, but just it's an all right movie with me. Now I will agree, it is not the best movie, but it's not the worst in my opinion. It's still entertaining for me, and I think that's all that matters. It's an entertaining movie that I could just put on whether I get bored or want to pay attention to something. I mean, just what's entertaining is just not only the, I guess the soundtrack. I do dig the soundtrack, but just the fight scenes and also the Milo dance scene.
My answer yes, put my best of best, put my 10 to 10, or put my spend to spend, have sad, excess, put my answer yes. My best of best, put my 10 to 10, or put my spend to spend, have sad, excess.
Also, I was playing a video of the Human Spider, Paulie McGuire versus Milo from Morbius dance up. Still though, Human Spider, you created a masterpiece with that video, because the Milo dance is as peak as the Bully McGuire dance. So, sadly, Morbius is just going to be a least favorite movie of mine for these Sony. Just basically, it's going to be my least favorite movie from the Spider-Man universe thing that Sony has created. Let's just hope Kraven the Hunter and Madam Web ain't disappointed. But ain't a disappointment, I mean. Although I highly doubt Madam Web might not be a disappointment. If you understand why I did that, you should know why it has to do with the cast. Coming number 11 is Venom, that came out in 2018. I gotta say, the Venom movies are just guilty pleasures for me. Although I will agree and disagree on what people say that Morbius was better than the Venom movies, or that the Venom movies were better than Morbius. And which would have to do with the villains or something, but still though, even though I'll be agreeing and disagreeing on that thing, just like I said, the Venom movies are just gonna be guilty pleasures for me, because I mean I know they aren't like great, but they're just entertaining for me. I enjoy seeing the scenes where Eddie and Venom are interacting with each other, because that's just one of the best parts for these Venom movies. And I know I have made a review for this, but I am planning to do a review later this October, because I mainly talked about my experience with the movie and barely talked anything about my general thoughts on the movie. So yeah, I will be doing a review talking about my general thoughts on Venom, and don't know if I'll end up doing a review for Let There Be Carnage. Who knows if I cave in on that. But agree to disagree. I think Venom probably had one of the coolest post-credit scenes ever. That would have to do with, you know, showing a sneak peek of Into the Spider-Verse. But also, the tease of Carnage. And speaking about Carnage, if I had to pick which movie would be my most favorite out of the Venom movies, it would definitely be Let There Be Carnage, which I did just got this recently to add to my collection. What's best about this movie is just Carnage. I just enjoy seeing the scenes of Carnage, but also the final battle of Carnage. Even though we had like one fight scene, it was still enjoyable to watch. I also even have a Funko Pop, which is currently a bit beat up because it was in my suitcase, but still though, I need to get the Venom Pop, since my brother sadly has it, but my mom will be ordering me one soon. Anyways, so just, yeah. But like I said earlier, the Venom movies are just guilty pleasures for me, and I do look forward to the third one, so that's going to be interesting. And when I think about it, Let There Be Carnage is kind of a bit of a rom-com, and it would have to do with Venom and Eddie. They're practically a couple. You know, it's hard to explain, I guess. But I did enjoy seeing Woody Harrelson as Carnage. I mean, I was a bit 50-50 about it, but then my opinion has changed. Well, let me rephrase that. I then was proven wrong about it, just seeing his performance and everything. Although, it would be interesting to see how Jim Carrey would have done it for the Sam Raimi universe, as I think it was rumored that he would have possibly played Carnage. That would have been fun. But I think we can all agree that this movie had one of the best post-credit scenes, even though it was for nothing. It still blows my mind that it happened, even though it was all for nothing, and that is all thanks to the No Way Home post-credit scene. Either way, it had one of the best post-credit scenes in the history of comic book movies. But coming in at number 9, now even though I didn't include, whether I've included the Venom and Morbius movies or not, I hate to put this on the list, and that would be The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yeah, I'm aware people will call this the worst Spider-Man movie ever. Well, guess what? I'm gonna disagree with you on there. I don't want to say this is the worst, but just my least favorite Spider-Man movies are Spider-Man 3 and TASM 2, and it's all due to Sony interfering. Even though there's a lot to love and hate with The Amazing Spider-Man 2, just I was just a bit mixed with this back then as a kid. I mean, just I remember jumping out of my seat, just copying the fight scenes in my TASM 2 costume that I got for my birthday the same year. And after after Gwen's death, I then just sat down, still cried. I have like 3 traumatizing moments in the theater. One would be TASM 2, second Logan, and then Infinity War. And since we're getting 2 more Avengers movies in 2025, I badly have to torture myself. Like, I badly want to talk about my thoughts with just Infinity War. Guess I'll just do a separate video where I just save my thoughts for, like, my experience and then my thoughts for the general movie. We shall see will that happen. I still gotta make videos for my experience with the MCU. So with me disagreeing that this is the worst Spider-Man movie ever made, there are a couple of issues here and there, which I have explained my thoughts on that with my review for The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like, the movie isn't all that bad, it's just... I will say this, the reason this movie is just not that great is all because of studio interference. And that is Sony, because I guess 2 movie companies that I have beef with, well, that sounds wrong. Still, just 2 that I dislike are just WB and Sony, but I don't know who's worse, Sony or WB. Actually, no, WB is the worst, because, yeah, I'm just gonna say this. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse, and bring back Henry Cavill as Superman. Still, though, I still enjoy watching this movie. My opinion probably has changed, who knows, but just... Still, I'm just gonna have to go on the bottom of the list because I was just mixed about it when I was a kid, and sadly, if I had to pick which one, it would have to be number 1, but... Andrew needs his 3rd movie. Okay, hashtag makes TASM 3. Okay, he deserves a trilogy. But yeah, if I had to choose which one I preferred, sadly, I'd have to go with the first one. That is coming in number 8, The Amazing Spider-Man. First thing right off the bat, I mainly like the TASM suit a lot more than the TASM 1 suit. Like, there's just a couple things I liked a lot more than the first one, but sadly, just with how TASM 2 came out, I pretty much thought the first one was a bit better, sadly. And, don't know if people are aware about this, but, like, I remember, I saw TikTok videos about these where, when you think about it, the Lizard's motive is actually, the Lizard has a really good motive about turning people into lizards. That's still, I saw a video where someone was talking about the Lizard having a good motive when they thought about it, like, just... And I kind of like, oh snap, they kind of have a point. I forgot what it was exactly, but still, there was just a TikTok video about it going on around like when the hype of No Way Home was still happening. But I gotta say, the best part about these TASM movies, besides the chemistry between Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, Andrew Garfield definitely is the perfect Spider-Man. I'm not perfect. Wait, hold up. How do I say this? We all know how passionate he is about Spider-Man. I think he's perfect to the role. I love how he's committed to the role of how he's passionate playing Spider-Man, which I am hoping he gets his third movie. Because, come on, he needs his trilogy, man. Toby and Tom already have their trilogies. Give Andrew his trilogy. Hashtag make TASM 3. Now, I have not had any criticisms about Andrew Garfield being Spider-Man. I was perfectly fine with him being our new Spider-Man, and sadly, I guess, you know, Tobey Maguire didn't want to be Spider-Man anymore. Or so we thought. So, I wasn't aware of what happened with the Sam Raimi movies and all that. I was surprised that we were getting, like, a reboot back then. But, like, I was perfectly fine with Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. In fact, I kind of liked him a lot more than Tobey Maguire. No, don't get me wrong. Tobey is always going to be my OG Spider-Man. Because he was part of my childhood. So, yeah, this movie was almost amazing. But still, though, the best parts are definitely going to be Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone's chemistry. Because I didn't see it, but as I rewatched them recently in prep for Going Home, yeah, I could see it clearly. Their chemistry is really that good. Also, if you're seeing this, I just realized I kind of skipped over Spider-Man 3. So coming number 7 would be Spider-Man 3. This used to be my most favorite movie of all time. But as I rewatched recently, I now see what they did to my boy Sam Raimi. Hashtag make Spider-Man 4, please. Now, we could all see that it wasn't entirely Sam Raimi's fault for how this movie kind of turned out to be bad. It was mainly because of studio interference. I mean, he did his best he could with Spider-Man 3, and he wanted to do a redo with Spider-Man 4, but sadly that never happened, which, again, hashtag make Spider-Man 4. Now, I still like it, it's just, there's just some issues that I've had that I now have as I rewatched them recently. I will say this, one of the best parts for Spider-Man 3 is definitely that Bully Maguire dance. That's peak right there. But just, Spider-Man 3 was just an almost perfect ending for the Spider-Man trilogy, which would be the Sam Raimi trilogy. I am a bit bummed out this is no longer my most favorite, because this was my most favorite back then when I was a kid, but now I can see what was wrong with this movie. And I wasn't even aware what was happening back then, because I was still a child. This came out after I was born. This came out in 2007, when my brother, actually, before my brother was born, but it came out in the birth year when my brother was born. But besides me just loving Bully Maguire dance, and all the memes going on in here, this is sadly one of my least favorite Spider-Man movies, and it's along with TASM 2, as I said. TASM 2 and Spider-Man 3 are my least favorite Spider-Man movies, and it's all thanks to Sony. But coming number 6, I had trouble just switching back and forth, but coming number 6 is Marvel Studios' Spider-Man Homecoming. And funny story, I kind of have 2 discs, one in this one, but also, reason I got this was because of the cover. Okay, this is, like, of course I got this around 2018, but, like, I had to get this because of this. So, what's the point of keeping 2? I don't know, but I'm just gonna keep it. Even though I already have one already, but just, yeah. I sadly missed the opportunity to see this in theaters, thanks to my dad not taking me, as I begged him multiple times in 2017. I guess I had a couple of issues with this, but as I rewatched it recently in prep for Going Home, of course, I've come to realize it is an actual good Spider-Man movie. Now, of course, my most favorite is Tom Holland as Spider-Man, okay, but he's always been my favorite ever since, I guess, Civil War. But Homecoming is just a good coming-of-age story. Like, when I think about it, it's a lot like Miss Marvel, or Miss Marvel's a lot like Homecoming, but still, though, it's just basically, both are just kind of the same, with Miss Marvel and Homecoming being good coming-of-age stories. And the Vulture, like, my god, he is actually a top-tier MCU villain, which I hope is not completely ruined thanks to those post-credit scenes in Morbius. So, though, he's a legit top-tier MCU villain, along with Green Gabby being a top-tier MCU villain. But as much as I love Homecoming, I prefer Far From Home over Homecoming. That was before No Way Home. But even though I like Homecoming, I prefer Far From Home than the first one, which I don't know what people say about it. I adore this movie. It's a perfect summer movie to watch for the summertime, and just, I was just obsessed with this back in 2019, and it was just one of my, I think it was in my best movies of 2019, like, it was just one of the best movies I saw in 2019. What was also best about it was just, I was obsessed with the romance going on between Tom Holland and Zendaya, which would be them as Peter Parker and MJ, but I was incredibly obsessed with that new suit he got, but just, Mysterio was, of course, another awesome villain for the MCU, but also the Spider-Man movies, for the live-action ones. Like, honestly, I could just watch this movie over and over again, as much as I can rewatch a Pacific Spider-Man movie. But coming number 4, I have a bit of trouble understanding how this is one of the best comic book movies of all time, and that is Spider-Man 2. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not that I dislike it or anything. I like it, of course. There's just some issues I've had with it that would have to do with Peter just struggling and everything, but then your guys are probably gonna say this to me. That's the point of him being Spider-Man. Like, I kind of understand. It's just I have trouble understanding how this is the best comic book movies, But for The Dark Knight, oh, I could see clearly how that's the best comic book movie of all time. But still, though, I will agree, Spider-Man 2 is one of the best live-action Spider-Man movies. It's just, I have trouble understanding how, but for Doc Ock, oh, I could see how he's a really good villain. He's as good as Green Goblin. Same goes for the Sandman. So I'm pretty much going to be stuck trying to understand how this is the best comic book movies. I mean, if I just rewatch it multiple times, maybe I'll see it, but like for The Dark Knight, as I rewatched it recently in prep for the Batman, I saw it clearly. So though, like I said, I will agree with everyone. This is definitely one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time. It's just, I have trouble trying to understand how. But, I do understand how this next one is one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time. And it's animated, and that would be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I cannot tell you how hyped I am for the next two Spider-Verse movies, because just those two are going to be peak. Like, my hype is through the roof. Well, let me rephrase that. My hype for both of them are through the roof. Still, though, they are going to be peak, though. Not only The Amazing Spider-Man is one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time, but it's also one of the best animated movies of all time. Like, just what was so great about this movie is just, it not only it's like a Spider-Man story, but just, there's just something that reminded me that I compared with, and that is with the death of his uncle, that would be the Prowler. Like, I found that a lot similar with how Peter lost his uncle, because just when you think about it, Miles lost his uncle, who was the Prowler, and Peter lost his uncle. Like, don't you see the comparisons going on? And I gotta say, the songs for this movie are just chef's kiss, but the one that I think is my most favorite is What's Up Danger, because in that scene, I gotta say, that scene is just motivation there, right there. My most favorite scene from Into the Spider-Verse has to be when he dons the suit and What's Up Danger is just playing in the background. Like, that scene feels motivating of what's going on, as he's falling from the sky, except when you look upside down, he's rising as the buildings are up. Like, you can see in the poster right here. So I am a bit bummed out that they got delayed to next year. Well, mainly the second one, since it was supposed to come out this October. But for them to give them time for it to be better quality or something. I forgot what was the reason why they delayed it. It was because they needed time to animate things, to animate the scenes and everything. Fine by me for it to be good quality, because the animation is just dope. But coming number second is Spider-Man. Honestly, one of the best comic book origin movies of all time. Like, it's one of the best origin movies of all time. Let me just rephrase that. But just, I think this is my most favorite out of the trilogy, surprisingly, for me, in my opinion. Like, just, I could obsess watching this movie all day and all night long. I remember just rewatching it so many times. Like, way before I had to get in prep for No Way Home. But just the Spider-Man, Sam Raimi trilogy were just my childhood movies. Like, I got obsessed with them before. Like, they came out before and after I was born. Well, mainly the third one came out after I was born. Like, the best parts about Spider-Man is just I don't know. I'm just speechless about it. I mean, of course, one of the best parts would definitely be Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. He's just an awesome villain. And back then, I think people were just like, yeah, it was pretty good. But as he came back from No Way Home, he ended up becoming a top-tier MCU villain. So, though, I'm surprised to say that Spider-Man is my most favorite out of the trilogy. And I could just rewatch it all day, all night long, because I'm just that obsessed with it. But not as much as I'm obsessed with, I don't know, what is on number one, which shouldn't be a surprise. Coming number one is freaking Spider-Man No Way Home. I cannot wait to see it one more time this year, because sadly, I only saw this once in the theater back in 2021. I almost said 2018. But still, though, just, I cannot wait to get my mom's reaction for when she sees this, because I might as well have her watch Spider-Man after I have her watch Loki. As I said, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, she fell asleep watching the finale of Loki last night. So yeah, after we watched that, I guess we watched two movies, Black Widow and then Spider-Man. Still though, this is my opinion, one of the best Spider-Man movies I have seen in my life. I will forever treasure this. I am so glad this is in my possession. This is a masterpiece that I am holding. This is a god-dang masterpiece that I am holding in my freaking hands. And of course, the best part is just Tobey and Andrew appearing. Like, I could not believe I saw my childhood again. Like, I just saw my childhood in here, because just the Sam Raimi were just my childhood. I mean, as much as I love Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland, all the Spider-Mans, Tobey is just always going to be my OG. He was my childhood, but not that I say either of them were like better. Like, I just love all three Spider-Man in general. But even without Tobey and Andrew being in here, this would have turned out to be a good Spider-Man movie, because, like, when you think, like, I will agree, the trilogy that we had for Tom Holland Spider-Man was essentially his origin story. Like, this would have been a good Spider-Man movie, whether Tobey and Andrew were in it or not, but I'm glad they were in it, though. Because not only was I happy to see them again, but I was happy to see the villains again. Like, I just, oh my god. I will forever love this movie to death. As much as I will love Spider-Man to death. Like, just, I will forever love this movie to death. Because it's just going at number 1. I will forever bow to Spider-Man No Way Home. Because it is just one of the best movies I saw from last year. But just... John Watts, you created a masterpiece. So yeah, I look forward to getting my mom's reaction to Spider-Man No Way Home. With that being said, that is my ranking for all 12 live-action Spider-Man movies. But in the end of the day, it is just my opinion about what I put in my ranking. Because, oh, I probably should have been specific about this earlier. This isn't a ranking from worst to best, because like I said, I do enjoy watching all of them, including Morbius. It's just my list, but I would like to hear your guys' rankings in the comments down below. Now, if you excuse me, I would like to make a video talking about my thoughts, because I've been dying to talk about Morbius, especially my thoughts with the post-credit scenes, because just... Still though, be sure to stay tuned, because I am going to try to get my mom's reaction for Spider-Man No Way Home, and yeah, happy Spider-Man Day everyone, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.